Mellow Mechanic here. Alright, today we got ourselves a little bit of a fun project. We got ourselves here a Bronco Sport. And what we're going to do today is upgrade the stereo in this. This is not the B&O stereo, this is the standard Ford equipment, 6-speaker, 2 tweeters in the dash, and the 4-door speakers. So what we're going to do, we're going to upgrade the door speakers. We're probably going to leave the tweeters in the dash, mainly because I can't get to them. Nor do I want to, because I think I got to take the whole dash apart to do that. But we're going to upgrade the speakers in the front doors and here in the back doors. Pioneer a Z series and a Pioneer a D series. So this one, high-res audio, these are going in the front. These are the TS-Z65S speakers, and these are the TS-D65F speakers. And these going in the back. So I got a set of the, what size are these? I think these are 6.5s coaxials. And so what we got to do is we got to tear this thing apart. We got to take the door panels off the front doors and the back doors, and then wire them up. Now here's what I would like to do, is I'd like to do this in stages. Now all the research I've done says these speakers over here sound pretty good by themselves off the factory head unit. So I don't know how much power this puts in stock, probably not a lot, but we're going to try them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this door panel off, obviously switch out the speaker, but I want to put a loop of wire where I can get to it. So phase 2, if I need to, is add an amp to power everything, but I don't want to take everything apart again. So I'm going to run a wire that comes from the head unit out so I can grab it for the amp, and then also the amp power can power the speaker. So it'll just be a loop where I can cut it. So I got an in and an out. The tweeters I'm not entirely sure I know what to do with. I think I'll leave them maybe powered off the stock head unit, or maybe grab, hopefully they're teed off the sides front speakers here in the doors, and we can grab them, maybe put a crossover on them, or just leave them. I don't know yet, not entirely sure. I don't know until we get into these. So we got to take this door panel off, and obviously the back door panel off here, but I think we'll start with the front and get to taking this thing apart. So here we go. So here's a look at the door panel. This one is the passenger side door panel, and where all the fasteners are is there's one underneath. There's a cover that goes in this little opening where the door handle is. There's a that's a 8mm head screw on there. You take the switch panel off here, and you can see there's a screw there and a screw that goes right there. Those are both 10mm. And there's one behind the reflector here. That's a 7mm, and then there's 2 on the bottom here. There's one there, and there's another one right here. Those are both 7mm down there. And then on the back side, there's a bunch of these clips. So we got one, looks like a little guide, piece of foam on it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 pins. That's the door panel. Alright, I have run the wires here. And what I've done is I got a loop of wire. So I got kind of an out and then an in, and it goes through this boot into the dash and comes out here, makes a loop. So this is for the future. If I do want to add an amp, I could just untuck this from the kind of the kick panel here, cut it, and then I got one going to the speaker and then audio coming from the deck, the head unit there. And I could just run it to the amp. I did figure these wires right here, figure out which one was which. The blue wire is positive and the gray wire is negative. So I've wired those up. I'm going to wrap these. I did have to drill a hole right here so I can come behind the speaker. The factory speaker has a plug, but it's on the front side here. So I just got to kind of button these up, and then we got to make an adapter ring for the speaker, and then we can put it in. So for my adapter, here's the drawing I did that shows the 3-bolt forward pattern, I guess, where the old speaker mounted, and then the 4-bolt where the new speaker goes in. The outside diameter, the inside diameter. So here's a ring I made, and then here's the Delrin top on it. So it's about a 1/2 inch thick. Right there, and it's got the 1, 2, 3 holes there. And I made these on the mill on my rotary table right there. So I machined the inside and the outside, and then I cut the Delrin pieces on the bandsaw right there. And I made 2 more blanks right here. These would be for the back speakers, but I didn't do those because I'm not entirely sure what goes in back yet. So once we take the door panels off, we'll see what we got to do with those. All right, first step to chase the wire here. This is the passenger side door. The driver's side door is the same, but you got kind of a steering column in the way. I took the glove box out so I can get inside here. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but let's see, turn down my... There's a hole right there, and I'm using an aluminum filler wire from my TIG welder. And I like that because it's nice and bendy, but it doesn't seem to want to scratch. So, get the light here. So this boot right here comes off, and there's a plug right there. And in the center of that plug, there's a nice hole where you can fish the wires through. So what we got to do is we got to go from this kind of speaker cavity through the bottom of that boot, up to the top, out there, and then that's going to come into this cavity. If you can see it, everything's so dark in here. So that's step 1. Step 2 is we'll tie a string to my wire and a string to the actual speaker wire, and then we'll pull everything through. Let's do that. All right, I got my wire run through here, through the boot and through the plug, and out here. And what you can see here, let me get my little pointer. Right here, there's a latch on the side here, there's a latch on the top, and there's a latch on the bottom to get this thing kind of moved out. In the middle here, looks like there's room for another plug, but they didn't put a plug there. There's a plug on top and a plug in the bottom, but the middle part is wide open. It's the same thing on the driver's side. So I just ran the speaker wires. I don't know if you can see them coming right through there, going through the middle here. And on this thing, to put it back together, this rubber boot has these 2 fingers right here. That finger and then this finger right here. They latch on inside here and here, and then you place the boot around and then snap it into place. So if you're doing this mod to your Bronco, expect to spend the most time right here. So I've got probably at least an hour, maybe a little bit more, just chasing this one wire going about a foot. So it was a pain, but it's done. So on to the next step. All right, here's a comparison between the factory Ford speaker and the new speaker I'm putting in. So this is the Ford speaker. It's a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can see it. A little bit bigger than that. That's a 6.5, and this is, I don't know, probably 6 3/4 or something. But look at the size of that magnet. It's itty bitty. So there it is right there. So this is a 25 watt 4 ohm speaker according to the sticker on the back. And so this is what we're putting, this is actually what we're putting into the back doors. But anyway, still a Panasonic coaxial 2-way. And this is Dusty, let's see here. 270 watts, 4 ohms. So the impedance is the same, or the resistance is the same, I should say. So they should still work on the factory head unit, but apparently only got about 25 watts. So, and you can see this speaker is quite a bit taller where the tweeter is than the factory speaker. So I was worried that the door panel would rest against that, but actually it doesn't. Door panel sits out a good bit. So, so I looked out there. I was worried it would hit. So let's go ahead and I guess we got to flip the bunker around and we can put this in on the, actually this one goes in the back, put the other one in on the passenger side. So, all right, I got the passenger side door done. I got my adapter on there. It's all wired up right here. I got my sound deadener on the outside and on the inside. And something you got to watch out for on the Broncos is in here. I'll show you. So there's a little slider, this little thing right there. It's at the bottom of the glass and it goes along this guide right here. So when you notch out this to get just a little bit more clearance for those big magnets on the speakers, you really got to be careful that you don't interfere with that, I should say. But see how that goes up and down that little track right there. So yeah, when I first did the driver's side door, I saw this and I thought this was just a support for the plastic, but no, there's a guide. And what really gave it away, I guess here I should have known, there's a cable right there. So anyway, when you're doing this, be careful of that, because that is an integral part of the window mechanism, so don't cut through that. All right, I got this door just about done. I got the speakers in, and I put sound deadening on the outside skin here, and I put some on the inside too, so that should really help just road noise and stuff. It wasn't really a loud car to begin with, but that should help. Let's take a closer look at my installation here. So I made an adapter ring, which is made out of aluminum, and that's a 1/4 inch thick. Then there's another piece underneath that that's Delrin, a 1/4 inch. So I got a 1/2 inch total. But that's mounted in there just like so. Again, the wire goes out through the little rubber boot. There's a loop and comes back, so I don't have to tear this apart again if I do want to add an amplifier. I can just go in and grab the wire right there. All right, so one thing I did to the back of the door panel on both sides is put this little foam ring around it. And I read somewhere in a forum that this really helps keep the sound going through the mesh here and not kind of bouncing around behind the door panel. So I just want to let you see this, that I did put this little foam squishy piece there, and the speaker should rest right against that, and it should make a good seal on that. All right, I got the back door panels off, got the driver's side, and you can see the passenger side in there is off, and they came off just like the fronts. So you got 2 screws down here. There's a screw right here which you can't see. 2 screws there. There's 2, one here for the where you close the door, and then another one behind the lever right there. I have sound deadened this, and I did put my adapter on. This design for the back is different from the front. There is no guide for the window on the back of the speaker. I don't know if that's showing up at all, but it's wide open in here. There is an inner ring, kind of a stiffener ring there. So I think that is a remnant of the B&O engineers, maybe, on the higher end Bronco Sports. Kind of got better speakers, but it's a real rigid mount right here, which is cool. So we get a little bit of benefit there. So adapter's on, I just have to wire it. Now the wiring for the back's identical to the front, but you get a little easier access to it because the plug is right here. So it just pulls out and you can get right to it. There's a nice big hole. There's a hole on the bottom here. The wire's going to go through. So I just have to snake my wire through the boot, through that hole, and then back in here. I've taken the A-pillar apart, and we'll just have to find the wire that comes out, and then we'll just coil it down here or something. So I did have to take the sail up to get the kind of that piece of trim off. So let's do that now. We'll do it to this side, and then that, and then we get to throw our speakers in, put it all back together. All right, got this speaker in. Got the driver's side door, that's done. Door panel's on. So all I got to do on this is put the door panel on, and we're done. Looks pretty good in there, doesn't it? Better than stock. There's a comparison. Yep. All right, so let's put this back together. I'll get my microphone set up and we'll see if it sounds any better. I hope it does. All right, all the speakers are installed. I got my EQ centered, I think. Can't tell if that's centered. We'll go with that. Volume is at 15. Let's see how it sounds. Pause it here for a second. Now, what I have found that these speakers, they sound amazing, but they're not quite as loud, as efficient as the stock ones, but they're a lot clearer. And because they're more power hungry, we can go in here and we can crank these up like that. And the speakers can handle it. They don't distort like the stock ones. I think it's a big improvement over the stock speakers. Now this is phase 1, and we'll see if I like phase 1 or I need to go to phase 2. We need to amplify these because all the things I've read, these are kind of power hungry speakers. They need an amplifier to really make them perform, but they sound amazing in stock form, or I should say on their stock head unit. So anyway, I hope this video was informative, and I thank you for watching.